Well, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever part of the day you are clicking on another episode of the Conspiracy Keepers. My name's Backlash, and I'm here with our hosts, Joe Monaco and Scooter McGee. I know we've been kind of silent for a while. Scooter, you were out of town and it was on something very important. And I know that, Joe, you want to talk about it a little bit. So I'm just going to let you take everything over here.
Well, we haven't actually had a show. We haven't had a chance to talk about the verdict between George Floyd and Derick Chauvin. And I want to point out a few things, and then I'll let you guys chime in. First of all, let's just take the thing at face value. Let's forget about all the things that we've heard about. The fact that his mugshot, talking about Derick Chauvin, looks nothing like him. Let's forget about the fact that we know that these two knew each other before and have had run-ins before. Let's forget about all the inconsistencies about this case. And let's just assume, for the sake of argument, that it happened just like they said. Let's just take it at face value. What I want to point out is this is what the protests were all about. And I kind of want to put this to bed forever. Every time since Colin Kaepernick came out, this was his problem: police brutality against citizens. It had nothing to do with the military, nothing to do with troops, nothing to do with any of that. That's what they tried to sidetrack us on. Oh, this is the military. They're disrespecting the military. They're disrespecting the flag. He came out from the beginning and said this is about two things: police brutality and racial inequality. That's it. No troops, no flag, no military. As a matter of fact, a lot of the players that were protesting saying have family in the military. This is not about the military. This is about exactly what we saw, assuming it's happened at face value. Okay. If people had listened, if people had just said, oh, we don't want to see him kneeling, we don't want to see these protests, this is what they were talking about. This was their problem. Go for it.
I want to not take it at face value after you're saying that they've met each other and a few other things in the mugshot. So we'll get into that a little bit.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But I mean, just in the beginning, let's just assume it happened like they said it did, and go from that point of view, and then we'll kind of break it down a little bit later on. Anyway, Scooter, go ahead. I know you have a lot to say about this. Is he talking? Scooter?
Sounds like we've got that same issue that we had last time.
Hey, Scooter, I got an idea. Why don't you just call us on the phone and let's talk over the phone, because we're not getting any place.
I'm gonna call him right now.
Yeah.
Don't say any derogatory comments about anything. I'm just gonna get into it.
Hi, can we hear me?
There you go.
Oh, good. That's kind of Can you hear me now?
Yes.
We hear you.
Okay. Hello. Hi, Joe. Hi, Backlash.
I've got you turned up.
Well,
as best as we can be expected.
up is probably better than on. All right, let's get rid of the delay. Put this thing off. Gentlemen, good afternoon. How are you, Joe? It was good to see you for a minute. Backlash, hope you're doing well. All right, Joe, just recap what you were saying, because you were glitching in and out. I was hearing about we're going to take it at face value, and that's where the glitches started.
Oh.
Why don't you just pick it up from right there?
Oh, you didn't hear me, Backlash? Would you be able to hear me?
Yes.
Or was that just Scooter? Okay, so that I think that was in your end, Scooter. I think what I said actually came through. But just to recap, just for now, we're going to forget about the fact that there's a lot of inconsistencies in this whole thing. We know that Derick Chauvin and George Floyd, they knew each other before. They had some run-ins before. The fact that Derick Chauvin's mugshots look absolutely nothing like him, and he has several mugshots, which is not usually done. We're going to forget about all that stuff for right now, and we just want to take it at face value. Let's assume that things happened just like they said it did. Okay, so that's where we're going to go for that with this. I want to go back to what Colin Kaepernick was about and what he said his protest was about, and what the media has changed it into, and what, for the most part, the right-wing conservatives have changed into. He's disrespecting the military. He's disrespecting the flag. He's disrespecting the troops. This was never about the military. This was never about the troops. They said from the beginning what this was about. It was about two things: police brutality, racial inequality. That's it. No military, no troops. They just tried to change it into that because people didn't want to turn a blind eye to the fact that there's problems with police brutality. So let's change it into a military thing. The fact is, a lot of the players that were protesting have families in the military. This was not about the military. This was about exactly what we saw. Once again, we're taking it at face value, assuming it happened just like they said. This was what the protests were all about. This kind of stuff happening. Scooter, take it away.
Well, choose your words. All right. In the minutes after the verdict was read publicly for George Floyd, the tone of Hennepin County, Minneapolis, and the pulse of America went from riot standby to a quote celebration. And Backlash, you can back me up on this now with the headlines, I guess 10 days or 7 days ago. Week yesterday, today. It's been a week. God, it feels like forever. All right. It was all suddenly that afternoon a quote celebration. And yet the most telling voice clip that ran for the next 2 days was the young person of color in a hoodie, hiding behind a mask, screaming shriller than I could ever imagine I could be, that it's never going to be enough. That's where we are at. As we approach Mother's Day and spring and the time for planting and gardening, I love the smell of CS tear gas in the air. They're not going to stop. They've made that abundantly clear. The media caught in the same 24-hour window, ginning up a story about a good young kid who called the police who got shot. That's what happens when you're sitting there in the middle of a fight with a knife. And then, if our world has not gone completely back to Planet of the Apes, Valerie Jarrett speaks up and talks about an entire generation that apparently behaves like it's West Side Story on TikTok. Joe, you're right. They are flipping the narrative in real time. Most of the idiots are going along with it because the talking point keeps getting repeated until the last one is drowned out. And unless certain people remind them, like you just did of Colin Kaepernick and how that story continued to morph for several years, I don't know where this country goes next. You had Democratic Senator Maxine Waters on the ground in Hennepin County with an armed guard detail stirring up the masses, not telling them to go home and calm down, but telling them to keep getting out in the streets.
Yeah, well, I think we can all agree that they are using this, rather it be contrived from the beginning, or they're just using a good crisis. They do want racial division. They want us fighting among each other. That's what they really want, and that's what they're getting. So I think we can all at least agree on that part. And you're right. I mean,
in order for any of this to play out, they need division. If it's real, they exploit it. If it's not real, or if it doesn't exist, they're just ginning it up. They're just creating it out of thin air.
Right, and just like we were talking about earlier, they're constantly creating the narrative.
Internet that demand the violation of due process. Everyone's demanding everyone's head on a stick this moment, without seeing a video, without hearing the backstory, without doing any investigation whatsoever. Gee, no wonder nobody watched the Academy Awards last night.
Right.
Oh,
right.
I got a good one. I got a joke. You want to hear it?
Go ahead.
Okay.
My Oscar has a first name. Oh, God, I forgot it.
Wow.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Senior moment. Oh, dear God. That's the tear gas. We don't know that yet, though. It's only been a year. You know, give long-term exposure to this crap for 10 years, and we'll see how he does. Hold on a minute. Okay, keep going. I forgot. Okay. So the Oscars, my point with the joke was nobody watched them because talk about misdirection to create another story, to create more division, Joe, not unity. Because we should probably stay serious today, so I don't want to bring up Caitlyn Jenner.
Okay.
Running for the Republican governor, like we saw Gray Davis, and we talked about all this back in Conspiracy Keeper days. Here we go again. Talk about a contrived, created narrative that is only agenda-driven. So as we continue to race bait, now we can, I guess, gender bait. Because Caitlyn Jenner now is going to be California's first female governor. With an asterisk and apparently something else.
Yeah, well, that's what the media does. They want to change the problem, change the issue, changes to thinking about something else. And I think all along, I mean, regardless of what's going on right now as far as the race betting, and when we know it's happening all over the place, police brutality is a problem. Police brutality is an issue. It is a problem. And it's been a problem for a long time. I mean, I think that's the thing that people are missing. It's been a problem for a long time. That's why they didn't want to address it. That's why they said, oh, no, this kneeling down is not about police brutality. The media actually never addressed that. They said it was about the military. They tried to make it about the military. So everybody likes the military. So let's make it about something that everybody's against anyway. And that's protesting the military. So, I mean, they're experts at that. So somewhere along the line, people have to start thinking for themselves, and they have to start seeing what's going on and seeing how the media acts and seeing what the agenda is and seeing what the goal is. The goal is to divide us, to divide and conquer. That's what Democrat and Republican is about. That's what black versus white is about. That's what this whole trial was about. That's what O.J. Simpson was about. It's about conquering and dividing. That's the goal.
So, Joe, what do you think we're essentially now? We've killed a week of time. I have not seen the official court schedule yet. The announcement was 6 to 8 weeks for sentencing. So the show will return. And that circus, what do you expect at the sentencing?
I don't think they're probably going to, obviously they're going to want to appeal this, and that's what this is all about. I don't see it. I don't see it going any other direction. I think this was the outcome they wanted for a number of reasons. I mean, there's no way they could have acquitted him. I mean, they needed it to happen the way that they did. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I mean, why do they have to wait 6 to 8 weeks? Why do they need to do that? Why is it working like this? It's all about a plan. There's a reason why they do anything. It's a reason why when you see illusionists on TV, everything they're doing has a reason. It doesn't seem like it, but it does. And we have the same thing here. So yeah, they're going to use this 6 to 8 weeks for something.
So I guess it depends upon which side of the aisle news you drink from. because one side, of course, pointed out we didn't need the trial. We had the body cam. That's enough. Move on. And the other side saying, well, that the prosecution didn't do X, Y, Z. The judge didn't do X, Y, Z. So there's grounds for appeal, which again is due process, with the argument of better to let 100 guilty go than send one innocent man. I'm not saying Chauvin is, but that's the argument of why there's due process and why there's appeal.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
They're staging it to set up for a summer of appeals that allows furtherance of anger, or have they squeezed enough blood out of this rock and now they're just waiting for the next one to appear because of body cam or smartphone or cell phone footage?
Well, I think what we need to be cognizant of is they tend to want to, they go from one event to another, and it's people, they tend to have a short memory. We don't really remember stuff, once they go from one thing to another. That's why all we heard about was COVID, and here we go. Oh, they're going to start the shootings again. Okay, that's not a coincidence. That's all done by plan. So now we've got, and I said, as soon as I start seeing this happen, I'm going, okay, here we go again. Okay, now they're going to start the shootings again. When are they going to start the terrorism again? When are they going to start the Middle Eastern people again? I mean, they're just using the same stories over and over and over again. That's the way they do things. But America does have a short memory, and they tend to just kind of follow the media. They tend to just be pushed along wherever the media takes them, and they take the narrative wherever they want to go with it. I mean, that's the way people are. They're just like little marionette puppets that just go along with what they're told. So aggravating. Bouncing into it.
All right. Can we jump topics real quick back to the Deadpool? When we were talking about, I made the comment about Queen Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth, of course, didn't die. Prince Philip did. Joe, did you see any of the, for lack of a better word, the funeral process, this burial process? Did you happen to catch any of that imagery on media?
I saw a little bit of it, but let me tell you what. There's only so much of this stuff I can stomach. It's just like, oh my God, here we go again. 99 years. I mean, oh no. Well, that's not a coincidence. He just happens to be 99 years old.
Again,
yeah.
I was seeing some numerology and more importantly, because this was not pageantry of past, because they kept going with this COVID narrative, so they did it differently. And yet I was still, as you brought up many times, the numerology, but I was also seeing what I thought was maybe some nefarious symbiology.
Oh yeah.
Of the imagery of the symbols and the images.
Oh yeah.
Within the picture, like we've seen at Super Bowl halftimes.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't want to pollute it with, hey Joe, did you see the owl on top of Philip's head?
Yeah. Right. Well, it's interesting to keep note of what's going on with those things, because yeah, you're right. Just like the Super Bowl and all that stuff, they do have a lot of symbolism, and that's where we get a lot of our information from as far as what they're going to plan out. That's what they're going to do. They do it in movies, they do it in things like the big funerals, Super Bowl, whatever. They're actually predicting what they're going to, or I should say, they're not predicting. They're telling us what they're going to do in the future. Because we saw the Super Bowl, and not this year's Super Bowl, but the ones past, they had predicted that everybody. We saw the nurses out there with the people in the hospital beds, and so and the lighting looks like this little COVID virus. So they're telling us what they're going to do. So yeah, it's interesting to watch these things for the symbolism, because you can kind of like get a clue about what they have planned next every time they do this stuff. I mean, these people are they're so predictable. For people that have their eyes open like we do, at least I want to think that we do, the average person is going to see it, and they know they're not going to see it. They're going to miss it.
I think we mutually agree that they are predictable, and I think at this point, is it fair enough to say we mutually agree that they've been overreaching? Is that a fair word?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I think they absolutely have been.
Do you think they've overplayed their hand? Sorry to bring up degenerative gambling, but in card playing, do you think they've overplayed their hand? And if so, is there a weakness in that? Can we get strength out of, hey, they just played the race card for the 92nd time and we're able to somehow, as a good saboteur, take that sabo and use it against them?
You know, I would like to think that we could, but it doesn't seem to be happening because I think most of the population is so asleep. Even when they overplay their hand, it seems to work. I mean, just like we talked about this many times about what's going on with COVID and the masks and all this kind of stuff. I would never have thought they'd be this successful. I never thought they'd make families stay away from each other. Longtime friends stay away from each other. People scared of each other. People think that every human being is a potential hazmat that's going to kill you. I never thought they'd get away with that, but they did. They overplayed their hand big time. But you know what? It worked because some people caught on, but not enough. Most of the population just follows along like sheep. So yeah,
right. You're right. Those who were smart enough, if they spoke out, they were simply silenced on the internet for dissenting speech. And in the meantime, all right, I'm just going to go a long way because I don't want to get yelled at, and I still got to get into stupids because I got to get a dozen eggs, and I'm tired of being told put your mask on.
And you're right. And censorship is huge. I mean, censorship is going on. I mean, it's just ridiculous now.
I don't know how much on social media you are anymore. In my week's absence, I have a buddy of mine, hey, check in here and post this, and we did that. And then I saw your notifications. Guys, we all agree I have been off broadcasting terrestrial radio now for over 2 years, correct?
Yes.
And those shows that we did, like the Ustream and all the stuff, we have hard drive copies of that, but all that internet stuff is gone. Facebook has begun to purge even, quote, the Scooter McGee shows. Copyright violation here. This was questionable here. I can't have this on here. No, for everyone's safety and security, we're deleting a couple dozen videos a day.
Oh yeah.
And my comment was, well, at this rate, in another week, I'll be purged from the internet. And it's not that I'm deleting the shows. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, they're all fake. So, okay. And then the other argument, screw you, gotta get back on here, gotta get it. Why? They're just taking everything down. As you guys know, why we're about to do what we're gonna do now to move to a private server, because as Joe has now verbalized in several episodes, we've posted them and they've immediately been taken down.
Yeah, and just recently, not my Facebook page, but the Facebook page attached to my website that had over 6,000 subscribers, they shut that down because they had been taking down a lot of my posts. You know, these fact checkers, blah blah. Fact checkers say this is not true, so they were taking a lot of my posts down. But the thing is, what they've done recently is they've completely shut down they've completely shut down the platform. Okay, what I was trying to say is that they shut down the Facebook completely now. My Facebook is attached to my website. And the reason why is because they've been taking down a lot of posts. And then they finally got fed up with me because I just told them, I said, hey, Facebook, I put this on the post. I said, it's not your job to fact check my posts. You're a platform and nothing else. And that was the last straw. They just shut the Facebook down completely after I said that. Fine.
Which one was it?
It was a Facebook page that's attached to the Conspiracy Zone that had like over 6,000 subscribers to it. I don't know if they've done it.
Conspiracy Zone on Facebook or?
Yeah. If you go to the Conspiracy Zone, it's got a Facebook page attached to it that I had been posting a lot of things that they had shut down. I don't know if they shut it down forever or if they shut it down for 30 days. I'm not sure what they've done. They've done one or the other. But when I told them it's not their job to fact check posts, they weren't going to have that.
Wow. Mm-hmm. I'm actually going to try and find that while we're chatting.
Okay, yeah. If you if you get on the website and it's on the right hand side, you scroll down a little bit and you'll see a Twitter link and a Facebook link right below it, and the Facebook link has been shut off.
And that's conspiracyzone.net.
Yeah, right.
Can I try my Oscar joke one more time?
Sure.
I'd ask you guys if you caught any of it, but out of 330 million Americans, less than 10 million did. It was 10.8. Okay, fine. So nobody's going to get this joke, but everybody's about to get offended. Cool?
Cool.
I want to know on a scale of 1 to 10 how offensive this joke is. My Oscar has a first name. It's Token. My Oscar has a second name. It's Asian. Do I keep going? Did we see the awards?
Go ahead.
I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it either.
All right. Well, that's probably not offensive.
Well, it's going to offend somebody. You can count on that.
Joe, they're propping up now we have to prop up the Asian, the AAI-LMNOP crowd.
Yeah. They're bringing all of them in there now.
And then, who was the superhero who died of cancer, Joe? He was a person of color. What was his name?
Oh, what was that guy's name? So I'm gonna have to check that one out.
Yep, but everybody knows who Anthony Hopkins is.
Yeah.
Anthony Hopkins wins the award, and everybody lost their effing minds.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not saying that other guy isn't a good actor, but you're standing up different bodies of work. And how many times has the Academy had to give another actor a different award for another movie because they screwed up the last time and didn't give it to him, and then there was backlash for that. Sorry, backlash. And so the Academy really, and you want to talk about some of the most uncomfortable moments on television, just watch the last 2 minutes of the Academy Awards. And it's god awful. It's god awful.
Yeah.
So, again, you're now officially woke, and now you're officially broke because the public wants nothing more to do with it. They don't want to have anything to do with the NBA. Baseball better figure this out real quick. Football sure better get their game together here by this fall, or Americans are going to find new bread and circus, and they're going to find it in the form of American Gladiators, a Bill Hicks reference. They're going to find it in MMA cage matches, and they're going to find it out at their local street corners on any given Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on.
Well, I think that they kind of saw that coming. I think that's why they are upping the sports betting. You know, they're really promoting that. They want to get people addicted to gambling on sports, and so they just can't get out no matter what because they're always going to be double or nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why they've really been pushing gambling, sports betting, because they want people addicted to that would normally maybe tune out.
Online gambling?
No, I have not. And I don't believe Joe does either.
No.
No.
No, but they want to get you addicted to it for sure, because they don't want you out. They want you in. And when they see people start to tune out, they've always got a plan B.
Joe, in a completely left turn, what's going on in the world of the stock market and cryptocurrency?
Well, there's no way that they are going to let another currency go unchecked. So this is part of the plan too. I think people are thinking, oh, if I get into cryptocurrency, that gets me out of the system because they can't track it and blah, blah. Oh, yes, they can. And right now what they're doing is they're sucking you in. Right now they're sucking you in because it's been pretty prosperous for a lot of people and they're making some pretty good money, but they're going to collapse it. They're just not going to let any other alternative as far as money goes unchecked that's going to rival the Federal Reserve, Rothschild owned. They're just not going to do it. So they're going to suck as many people in as they can.
Short term, does the dollar still hold its supremacy, for lack of a better word?
Well, not really, because it's a pyramid scheme, so it's constantly losing its value. But it doesn't matter because they own the game, so it really doesn't matter. The inflation doesn't bother them.
In theory, doesn't the world still recognize the U.S. dollar as the common denominator of currency?
Oh yeah, right.
So in theory, in the short term, do we still see that holding the status quo?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. But they're going to try to suck people into to Bitcoin. As a matter of fact, I saw one of the NFL players had just got his salary redone to where it's not in dollars, it's in Bitcoin, because he thinks that that's the future. That's what a lot of people think. Oh, Bitcoin is the future. No, it isn't. They control that too. They're going to suck you in and they're going to collapse it just like they did the last time. Remember a few years ago when it was going crazy and then everybody was in Bitcoin and then they collapsed it, lost like half its value? Well, they're going to do it again. And people apparently just don't learn.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to shut that down.
And you and I do agree on, yes, it is manipulated. And and I don't want to say this negatively, but one of the great manipulators of cryptocurrency right now on this planet is Elon Musk. Mm-hmm. What do you make of Elon? I was floored by the announcement Saturday, May 8th. I'm actually going to watch Saturday Night Live. It's Elon Musk. This is brilliant for ratings, but the minute they go political, I think the whole thing goes off the rails.
Maybe.
What do you think about Elon doing Saturday Night Live?
Maybe. I mean, anything like that obviously is a manipulation. You know, I mean, Elon Musk, he's not on our side. He is not. He's one of them. You know, he's one of them. So yeah.
You think he started off as one of us and they slowly brought him in?
I don't think so. I think he's always been one of them.
We've got conflicting reports. Peter says yes.
Yeah, I don't think so. He's always been one of them.
I want to believe. How's that? I want to believe that Elon has over a long period of time been usurped, but even the dirt they got on Elon is nothing like what's coming out on Epstein's plane.
Yeah, right. Yeah, probably so. But yeah, all that stuff is good.
We can't figure out at this point if Dershowitz was caught with his underpants on or off during the massage on the plane.
Yeah, right. I know.
Oh, Alan Dershowitz. How gross. Okay, that's enough. I got to get out of the game because I can't get that itch out of my head. In one interview, Alan Dershowitz, one of the most recognized, prestigious U.S. Yeah, why didn't I get a massage? Well, I did, but I didn't take my underwear off. Mm-hmm. What kind of freak show on the dance floor are you?
Yeah, I mean, that's what these people are. I mean, they're all like that. Kraft, you know, the owner of the Patriots, did the same thing. You know, they're all in on it. Nothing like that happens by accident.
Joe. Going to the Super Bowl and getting a rub and tug at a strip mall massage parlor is a big difference from going through private security, private airport, private aircraft, underage girls, secret island, and undocumented trips to the public. That's a huge jump.
No, my point is they're all in the same game. If you don't think that Robert Kraft is part of that group, he is part of that group. They're all part of that group. As a matter of fact, you have to be part of that group to even get in that position. That's why there's very few exceptions, and if there are, they get snuffed out pretty fast.
Well, my prediction is Saturday Night Live is going to spoof cryptocurrency. You know, in the days of Chris Farley and David Spade, this bit would write itself. But I don't know. I do see the heavier person of color being in this skit. They nerd it up, they high-tech it up, and they yuck it up about crypto. And I think in the short term, it blows up in the media space like GameStop, and a whole new group of Americans starting May 9th, right after Saturday Night Live, and around the world start getting swept up into this crypto, which, Joe, you're right, it's a great idea. We're printing all this money. Let's let the blah spend it on digital. We crash it, and they just swept up all that cash like a vacuum. It was better than shaking the tree from the loose apples.
Yeah, I know. It's all part of the same game, you know. It absolutely is. It's all controlled by the same people. That's kind of what we've been telling people from the beginning. There is no left versus right. They're all controlled.
Well, we've got about a minute 20. So, Joe, where can they find us if they can locate us at all anymore?
I know. It's not going to be much longer. They can go to conspiracykeepers.com, and that's where you can find all of our shows. And you can go to the website also that's attached to that one called theconspiracyzone.net, which they've taken the Facebook page down that's attached to that. But
I
the
just
website
want
is
to
still
let you
there.
know, we do have the conspiracykeepers.com. I'm on it right now, and I've been trying the conspiracyzone.net,
Mhm.
and it's not showing up at all.
Oh, try it again. It should be on the conspiracyzone.net should be there. You're not getting anything?
I'm getting this site can't be reached. Check if there's a typo in the conspiracyzone.net.
Huh.
So,
Well, in 30 seconds, we'll jump. Backlash, send me the link for the next meeting. I'll try and log back on, and hopefully we've got good news about new servers.
perfect. And I will
Okay, guys.
see you gentlemen in just a little bit.
Okay.
All right.